and the clicking stops, and I hear that crying. That familiar crying from before! Why is it open? Why is it open? Greetings, my beautiful viewers. I am the Hunter of Comedy, and welcome back to The Letter. So, last time we had the very sad revelation that Luke may have been cheating on his wife, Hannah, and that he impregnated someone else's wife, and a bunch of horrible things. Just a bunch of horrible things. So, yeah, I'm not quite certain exactly. I was thinking about it in the off time of what is the best choice here to make. Okay. Oh, this is gonna make or break me. Because I have a feeling that if... Oh! I need to work for my happy ending. Perhaps a break is needed. I think that I need to work for my happy ending is the best. To work for it, to make it a happy ending. Perhaps a break is needed may not be the best in this situation. I'm gonna go with I need to work for my happy ending. Not that she should just hope for it, but she needs to work toward it. Be that strong, independent woman she always used to be. So let's go for that. Yes, I did good! Oh, it takes two to tango. Becky's words are still fresh in my mind. And I can't help but think that the girl, plucky woman that she is, has a point. If I love Luke, I'll have to fight for him, don't I? So far, I've been doing nothing but sitting on my behind, hoping it'll fix itself. This whole mess definitely isn't going to fix itself. How dare that woman try to drag our name and our relationship through the mud with her lies? She might not be lying? She might not be lying, but at least you're being loyal and faithful to your husband and, not, horrible about it. And at my own party. Determination fires me up as I take a step forward in the middle of the fray. All the while, she has been screaming. I signal for security to stop. I can almost feel the glower on my face as I stare into hers. She wilts as soon as she sees me. She starts to grow anxious and her protests die down. I can see her haughty, angry expression turn into a horrified realization. Rightfully so, she should be scared. What is this thing they say again? Never wake a sleeping dragon? I often think that Luke is the one in charge, that he is the one to be feared and appeased. They think me only the pretty wife. They forget that I am just as capable, just as worthy of respect.
I invite you, my friend, into my house on a day of merriment, and you insult my name and accuse my husband of infidelity. What have I ever done to make you treat us with such disrespect? You are no longer welcome in any of our estates, our properties, and our businesses, and we will no longer patronize yours. Now, escort the girl and make sure she isn't standing even an inch within our grounds.
She looks devastated. Reasonable. This does make her into a pariah, doesn't it? I should feel concerned, but I can't find an inkling of mercy within me. I don't know what her plan was. I don't know what she wanted to make of all this. The money? Of Luke? It doesn't matter what she wanted.
You won't show your face to me ever again if you know what is good for you, Rochelle. Take her away.
The tension is thick in the air, and the silence that embraces the room is so set that one can practically hear a pin drop. There are worried, almost fearful glances from some of the guests, but they all know this well within my right. She is the one who started this whole dilemma. It just so happens that I'm the one ending it. As long as everyone hold their tongues and don't interfere, none of the consequences matter to me. Especially when my darling looks at me with a different shine in his eyes. It's almost as if he's proud of what I've done, and that spurs me on more than anything. Nevertheless, I still act upset, because this does not change what just happened. He still has a lot to answer to. Because even if the woman is lying, there is always an inkling of truth in every lie. So when I turn to him to say that the shock he displays brings me gratification is an understatement. Of course, there is no reason to make a husband and wife spat into a public spectacle. Some privacy will generate the least number of headaches and complications. Everyone is still far too busy in the ballroom, and most of the staff are still in the kitchen. A sharp glance at anyone who will go through the doors is all it takes to make them retreat. And the most private we can get without me dragging Luke all the way to our bedroom is the foyer.
And you. We are going to talk about this, Lucille Mitchell-Wright. Not now, but we will talk about this.
Right! I swear that is not my child, no matter what that woman says. Hannah, darling, you believe me, don't you?
I believe that it isn't your child, but you never said that you did not cheat on me with her. We'll have a talk about that tomorrow, among other things.
What for? What other things?
About us, Luke. This isn't right, this doubting each other and not talking. That's why we'll talk. If anyone needs me, I'll be in our room. I'm in no mood to be talking with anyone about anything. Especially nosy baggers who have no business with any of it.
Don't go back to your room alone in the creepy mansion! Right now, being with the group, with all the people, is the safest thing for you!
Should I be worried? Scared?
Yes! Both!
Because you know threats do not work with me, Hannah.
None of those. You should know I'm not your enemy, Luke. I need rest. That's all.
Of course, you must be so tired. You've earned some peace. I'll take over the party from here.
Good night, love.
Good night, Buttercup.
Sometimes I forget that leaving Luke to handle a party is a horrible idea. Oh my god, we're just passing through the days! Jesus. Hannah Wright threw a party in the penthouse at the Cache. The city's most powerful were seen, including Chief Inspector Harvey Lee of the Luxbourne Police Department. From him, the socialite heard of the Erengard Mansion's upcoming open house, and of the interior designer Marianne McCall. Oh, that's the 17th. I am so behind the times. In the aftermath of Rochelle's accusations, Hannah banned her former friend from setting foot in any of their properties. She was then seen dragging her husband all the way to the mansion's foyer in order to set things straight with him. Nice. Okay. That played out differently than I was expecting, but I can't say I didn't enjoy that. That was some nice little drama there. I gotta say, the writing in this game, the wording is a bit odd. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that. The wording is a little bit odd and a little bit I wouldn't say there's typos, it's just like not grammatically correct. But the wording is still there, it works, and you get the general thing. And you know what's great? You know what's really great? None of the spoken lines feel weirdly written. They all seem to make sense to me. At least for the most part. Okay. Because come morning, the dining hall is a mess with a few of his drunk friends sleeping about. At least a dozen men and women are scattered about, sleeping like they're in alcohol-induced comas. They probably are. Officer Lee is there? He didn't go home with his wife? He is an asshole! Even Officer Lee is there, sleeping off the effects and still clutching a bottle of 1998 Eumilla. I can't read it. No doubt Luke has served some of his stores and absinthe. Judging by the faint burnt smell, they had set fire to the lantern too. No bohemian. There is only so much I can tolerate, as we have Johann retrieve every single one and get them a cab. And they are everywhere. At the table, on it, underneath it, and some even in the kitchen.
Nap time is over, Kinder. Time to go.
You go, Johann. And oh dear, did this piss our valet, though he is still a man of silent fury. Although it is a little treat to hear him utter curses in German from the other room. I imagine Luke will be amused as well, if it isn't his guests that are being thrown out. He said he's brooding in his seat, rolling a stalk of daffodil in between his fingers.
He's energetic. And you aren't drunk. That, or you are getting better with handling your hangovers without your dog hairs. Should I be looking out the window to see if the sky has turned red and if pigs have started to fly?
I am unfortunately completely sober, Hannah.
And how does it feel not being hungover?
Still miserable.
It'll get better.
Or so they say. You wanted to talk about something?
You know, for once, I wish you were hungover. Maybe this isn't the best time for this talk.
No, please. I do not like loose ends. And this is a bloody ugly loose end.
Then, first things first, I want you to be honest with me. Just between the two of us.
Are there still drunk people in the room? You need to confirm there's drunk people in the room. Roll for perception. She has negative perception.
Without others to impress. Without people listening in. Just you and me.
Are we sure there's no drunk people still in the room? This is a thing to confirm.
Did you or did you not sleep with Rochelle Lee and got her pregnant?
I didn't get her pregnant, but the thought of having a child with her? Can you just imagine it? Or rather, don't. I can already see it. It'll look like that ruddy pig boy from that Young Wizard book.
I don't care about once upon a time. What I'm asking is if you were with her the other night during my party.
Him not showing up in most of the gatherings I've hosted in the past is nothing new, of course. The one I've had last week is no different. It's merely another thing I've gotten used to between us after things turned sour. And after Rochelle's outburst last night, I won't deny feeling the disappointment. The betrayal. What's done is done, however. Though at the very least, I still want to hear the truth from him.
She made me meet with her the night of your party, but I swear, I only agreed to go so that I could tell her I wasn't having none of it. It isn't my baby. I don't even think it's Lee's. Poor bloke. I mean, I probably slept with her once. We were probably incredibly drunk, but that would have been a long time ago before she was preggo.
Are you sure, Luke? You're not making anything up or leaving anything out?
Of course not. I swear it on my mother's grave.
He swears it, he says, as he hands me the flower with such tenderness. And I believe him.
Well, if that's all you wanted to talk about, you shouldn't have made me worry.
For the sake of my sanity and for the sake of our marriage, I'll pretend that you never said any of that.
Yeah, that was a dick thing to say, Luke.
Are you sure you aren't drunk now?
Haven't had a single drop and hating it.
Would you like something to drink? Because I'm not done. I have something else to tell you.
No thanks. Maybe I will after this little talk you wanted to have. I already told you, and you already said you believe me that the brat isn't my child. I already spilled that I might have had drunken sex with her once, and you wish to wipe that off your memory. So do we have anything else to talk about? Because have at it. I'm all ears.
You're pretty miffed for someone who just admitted to his wife that he's cheated.
And you're stalling. I can tell that incident has you shaken up. So why don't you just spit it out and get this all over with?
I'm pregnant.
What? Come again?
You heard me.
You've got to be kidding, right? This must be some kind of joke. Are you taking the piss at me? Because, woman, I don't need a second fake pregnancy.
I don't need a... God damn it! That is a dark line! That is a dark line! Instead of answering, however, I stay silent and let the matter of the fact sink into his head. His face heats up for a moment before he goes pale. He raises a hand, in hopes of asking for a drink, but the morning staff are still busy evicting the last of his inebriated companions. And he doesn't even bother to bark out orders, as if he's lost to his very voice. Actually, he looks like he's on the verge of hyperventilating.
This is Hannah, darling. I need some air. How long have you been?
3 months. And the twins. Although we don't know yet if they're a boy or a girl or both.
Good God! Twins!
Dear God! Twins!
I'm going to be a father to two tiny babies. Breathe, Luke! Breathe!
Yes, breathing is best in this situation.
Goodness, Luke, I'm the one who's pregnant here, not you.
No, don't touch me! Stay away!
Scream cuts off my amusement, and without thinking, Luke and I rush to the foyer. This looks bad. There stands a crazed-looking chief inspector, trashing about as he tries to make it up the stairs while Johann holds him back. Okay, what happened? Hannah confronted Luke regarding last night's drama. He confessed he slept with Rochelle, but insisted he's not the father of her child. Accepting his apology, Hannah then informed him that she's 3 months pregnant. Yeah. I kind of had a feeling with her, like, being sick and throwing up. I kind of thought that's what it was. I didn't say anything because she's like, well, I want to get pregnant, but, wasn't, so, I don't know. The talk was interrupted when a crazed Officer Lee refused to leave the mansion, screaming about helping a crying woman. Oh, no! Oh, bad.
What is going on here?
Und tschüss. All the Schweinehunde must leave, including you, Chef Inspector. This one is very problematic and will not leave.
No, you can't make me leave! I need to stay here for her! I need to help her!
Oh, Rochelle? She's probably already at home, dearie. Or she might have already gone and skipped town. Who knows?
Oh, for the love of... There's no point talking logic in him. Lee, go home. You're drunk.
Can't you hear her crying? She was crying, just weeping and in so much pain last night!
Oh, God!
I couldn't help her. Drunk, sobbing bastard that I am, but my help. She needs my help. Tell your fucking stupid lapdog to let go of me, Luke, or I'm gonna knock him down and I'm gonna knock the two of you down too!
Language! I've already dealt with your wife, so don't make me deal with you, Lee. Or I swear I'll...
Hannah, enough. Don't stress yourself over him. It'll be bad for the twins. So go back to your breakfast and let me handle this. Okay?
That was a good
Are
thing
you sure?
to do. That was a good,
Why wouldn't I be?
that was a good thing to do.
Now, go ahead and do something less stressful.
Go ahead and do nothing. There isn't much to do, it seems, whenever I step up to the plate and try to take responsibility for something. Perhaps because everything is already being handled by someone hired specifically for that job? And with Johann overseeing the staff, and Luke handling everything else as a whole, that doesn't leave much for me. Can't even take the job of delegation, because all it takes is just one word of the senior staff and everything will be taken care of for me. Moving in here a few days ago may have very well been the chore that took the most effort from me. And that didn't take any real effort at all.
Yes, Hannah, go buy a mansion in the middle of nowhere. Good idea. Great plan.
There are no dishes to set aside, busy myself with. Any mess left behind is now nearly non-existent. To sit on a counter while eating cake is supposedly to be my next plan. Alas, there isn't even one to finish off. I don't really know what brought me to the kitchen in the first place. Not like I'm craving anything, or do I have any unfinished business left here. But there's a calling to this room! No bad! Speaking of calling, why not do just that? Might as well, since I have nothing else to do. At least that will require some effort on my part. With how cut off from the rest of Luxborn the mansion is, with how long it was abandoned before we moved in, having a landline is out of the question. The solution is supposed to be our mobiles, though it isn't much considering how spotty the signal in this area is. It'll take a bit of maneuvering to get every single bar as it is. Takes a bit, as I said it would. I had to park my rear on one of the cold drawers, but that suits me just fine. Another matter that needs my effort is who to call. She who must not be named is certainly off the list. It doesn't leave much in the category of close friends who attended the party, along with the category of those else, of who else is awake at this early hour. But soon enough I manage, and the call goes through. I think I know who she's calling.
Hello, Rebecca Gales here. Who's this?
Good morning, Becky.
Hannah? Oh, wait, how did you get my number?
You responded to your RSVP through the phone. It's all saved in here, of course. I thought I'd like to say hi and make plans and get together sometime. Also, I'd love to hear news about your mother and father and about you, my dear. Oh, I hope I didn't wake you up.
Oh, you're good. It's sports day at school today, so I was just prepping for that.
Figures that you'd be a teacher as well. I'm sure your students must absolutely adore you.
Don't know about that.
Mathematics?
History, actually. Anyway, it's real nice to know you've got my number. I was going to ask for yours because Mom wanted to keep in touch.
You could have asked, silly girl. I would have gladly given it to you.
That was the problem, I feel.
Couldn't, though, because, well, the thing that happened. But really am sorry, though. I gotta run. School, schedule, stuff. Is there anything else you want to say? Don't want to use the mobile while driving.
Oh, of course, of course. I shouldn't keep you. But I wanted to thank you for your company yesterday.
Not a problem.
And for that other thing as well.
What for now?
For what you said to me. With what had happened. It's been very helpful in...
Oh no! I know that! The call starts to go to static, much to my frustration. Strange clicking noise drowns out most of her words, too. I doubt you can understand what I'm saying. The line completely dies! I do not like that phrasing! Ah, I can feel a headache coming along. It's just building up. Starting from a light throbbing on the side of my head. The static is gone, and that helps a lot. There's still this incessant, horrible clicking. Again and again and again. Which doesn't make sense. The mobile's turned off, isn't it? And if it isn't coming from the phone, then where? Looking about, I can't help but let my eyes be drawn to the hatch leading into the wine cellar once more. No! Stay away from the wine cellar, Hannah! You're pregnant! Keep the twins alive! And the clicking stops, and I hear that crying. That familiar crying from before! Why is it open? Why is it open? Oh god. Hannah called Rebecca Gales, hoping to catch up with an old friend. The talk got interrupted by a horrible clicking and the cry of a woman from the wine cellar. What happened the other day? I was told that nobody should have been down there. I tried to forget about it, because of how it unsettled me so. One can hardly do that when I'm looking at the very thing I'm trying to forget. Somebody's crying down there again. But if I leave it alone, it simply won't stop bothering me for the rest of the day. I might have forgotten to lock it with the party going on.
This again? If somebody is pulling my leg, I will not be happy.
This is bad! No! 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 True enough, all it takes is a bit of a pull to open the hatch. As I look down the cellar, a sense of uneasiness washes over me. It isn't just the sudden onset of vertigo and nausea, but also the darkness. It's suffocating. As I look down, it feels as if it's looking back at me. Yeah, when you stare into the abyss stares back! I worry that something will suddenly pull me into the deep, so do I! The cries drown beneath the shrieks that start echoing in my head, high and shrill like nails being dragged across a chalkboard. They're all screaming, shouting at me. And I can just feel her rage. Help me! She wants to drown me, drag me down and crush me in the depths of the darkness. Until there's nothing left of me. The deep abyss waits for me, for my death. They're all calling for it. This is a nightmare. There's a rope around my neck and I can feel the rest of me being torn apart. And they're still screaming. I'm screaming. Though it's not my voice that escapes my lips. It claws through, climbing up and forcing its way up my throat like putrid bile. I choke and gag, and I scream and shriek all at the same time. I'm not me, but me. I'm me, but not me. Oh boy. Oh, I am not good with these. J. That's not J! That's C. I'm sorry. Hold on. It pushes me down to my knees before I'm prone. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna fix this. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. I pushed the wrong button and it made it not go full screen. Did I hit F? I hit F. That's why it did it. I'm sorry. It pushes me down to my knees. Okay, I read that. Makes me tumble. I can just feel my whole body seizing, writhing on the floor. Everything and nothing hurts. It feels like I'm on the verge of death. And if I'm not dying, I nearly wish I actually am.
Hana? Hana, what is going on in here? Why are you?
Prince!
Prince? Seeing Luke, something snaps back, and I'm able to just grasp, to take a gasp of air on my own volition for the first time in what felt like centuries. I would have rejoiced and cried for his name, but the pain still did not rack my body. Oh, in safe hands. Instead, all I do is stare listlessly as he comes to my side and lifts me up, cradles me in his arms. He tries to get me to my feet, perhaps to take me out of there. But all he's able to do is to get me to sit, make sure I'm not trashing on the floor. Should be thrashing, I think. I can still feel my muscles spasm, my limbs jerking like a puppet on a string. Luke holds me tight and keeps me still, so that I do not hurt myself anymore. Whatever it is that happened has my mind feeling frayed and battered. Eventually the pain dies down into a dull ache. My own tongue stops feeling like cotton. It's only now that I can feel the wetness on my cheeks, tears streaming down my face. Coughing racks my body now that I don't feel like choking. It just all feels so horrible. But I don't care. I don't care.
Luke, please.
What happened here? Who did this to you?
I don't know. I'm so sorry.
Shh, it's all right. You're safe now, Hana. You're safe now.
Is that the end of her segment? It is, and now we're Zach! I like Zach. The pleasant aroma... Okay, the humming is kind of creepy. Okay, so we've done Hana. Now we're to Zach, but hold on one second. The pleasant aroma hits me long before I cross the threshold. Faint, but light and warm, a reminder of what home is. Pa's stern but commending gaze, Ma's tender smiles, the sunlight filtering through the eaves in the morning, and the distinct smell of cinnamon and vanilla as it drips through the air every time something cooks from the room. The room. Our room. Ma and Pa's pride and joy. My sister and I too, eventually. But we aren't allowed there. Not yet. Not until we're taller or older. Not until we've learned how to take care of ourselves, and not burn our hands, or reach the cupboards without having to be lifted.
But a little peek wouldn't hurt, yeah?
Floorboards are cold under my feet more than it usually is. The wall's more foreboding than what I'm used to. Farther and farther the room goes. Ma's sitting ceases, and Pa...
No, please wait. I'll be good. I'll sleep on time. Don't go.
I can't hear Pa. Oh no! Not above the rancorous clanging and the deafening roar of gunshots, nor the screams replacing the comforting soft melodies. There is only blinding fear. When my foot slips, the red sea that catches me is bitter and frigid, but the blood that drips from my hand is warm, warm, warm. It ain't my blood. Walls tremble and everything goes quiet. Oh, takes a few moments for everything to fall into place, for my eyes to adjust to the relative darkness of the room. Despite the pleasant chill the AC brings, my shirt is clinging tightly to me, and my blankets are tangled around my throat. Oh man, he had a fucked up nightmare. But let's read his profile. Zachary Zach Steele, 31. He's 6 foot, born on March 20th, Pisces. He's a freelance photographer, American, agnostic. That makes sense for him. Diploma in digital film. He likes pie, photography and film, documentaries, cooking, acoustic guitar, and video games. I love this guy. He's my new favorite. I shouldn't say new. He's been my favorite for a while. Pretty much ever since I met him. Before his parents' death, he lived in New Jersey, where his family owned a diner and bakery. He and his older sister were orphaned due to a hate crime, and they were forced to move to England, where their grandparents lived. He had loved cooking and helping out with their old diner, but grew lazy and disinterested after the incident. It did not help that he was one of the few blacks in a predominantly white community at the time. His passion for the visual arts was sparked when he found old Polaroids and home movies of his parents. Freelancing helped pay his rent, but the man had long set his sights on the indie film scene. And it was during the creation of his first documentary that a robbery occurred, and Ashton was there to investigate. Being at the wrong place at the wrong time led to Zachary being placed as a suspect, but the rookie detective helped him clear his name. And that's how they met. That's great. I like that. That's good. Hannah seems to be doing okay now. I mean, like, despite everything. I still don't know what happened to Isabella. Where is Isabella? Tell me she's alive. What day is it? What day is it? Do we have a day? We don't have a day yet. I don't know what day it is. Morning has not yet arrived, and yet...
Way too early for this thing, man.
And too long. He yawned, now I'm yawning, damn it. It's a scientific thing. When someone else yawns, we all yawn. We mimic it. I don't know why. It's horrible. His clock says that it's midnight. I don't think that's the case. He said it was early morning, but either way, it doesn't matter. Clocks always read the wrong time. Too long since the last I've woken up drenched in my own sweat. Head littered with thoughts that are gone as soon as my eyes open. All too often, only imprints and brief images are left to haunt me for the rest of the day, or until my mind forgets about it. Egad, whichever comes first. Yet, vivid or not, what little I can remember does not matter. Regardless, the desperation sticks, clawing up, pushing, urging me to relive every moment, every sensation, and... There's a twinkle in Ma's eyes when she looks up from her work, flour dusting her nose and cheeks. The scent of freshly baked bread wafts from the oven as soon as Pa opens it, and the homely fragrance of honey fills the room. He reaches up to wipe the small bead of sweat away from his forehead before gesturing for me to come closer, the moment he spots me on my little hiding place behind the door. I expected him to be angry, but his pat on my back when I come within arm's reach is encouraging enough. We'll have to taste these first before we put them up for sale. You up for it, little man? Is it good enough? A knock cuts through the air before I can answer. Sharp, heavy, demanding, familiar. So distantly familiar. Ma ushers me out of the kitchen when Ma moves to answer it. But I know. I know what waits outside. The taste of blood in my mouth sends an unpleasant churning in my gut. Ma's apron crinkles under my tight grip. Something snaps me back into place. My bed remains in utter disarray. The walls still need a paint job, and the wall clock ticking opposite my bed is as unsettling as ever. Ash is right. I should have already replaced that when I had the chance.
You're no longer there, Zachary. Here and there, are miles apart. Calm down. Breathe.
The pressure of my own fingers against my temple is a welcome sensation over the anxiety gripping me. I never really did anything to stave off the headache sure to follow after this before, but it grounds me. A little reminder that I'm safe, away from the place I once called home, from Ma and Pa's. The urgency with each rap that follows finally ceases away the ghost threatening to hang around. Why anyone thinks it's a good idea to knock at someone's door this late confuses me. Nana would chase them all away with a broom if she was here. But no matter what, it's a welcome break from the thoughts about to take a morbid turn if left festering. It's probably just Ash anyway, looking for a place to crash. Looking for a place to crash. Wonder of wonders why he's bothering with courtesy when he never did so before. Even with that hunch, though, Habit compels me to check who it is through the peephole. Better safe than sorry, they say. Except the person that greeted me on the other side ain't him. Unless his hair grew longer overnight and started wearing a ponytail, of course, which I highly doubt will happen anytime soon, no matter how funny that looks in my head. I waste no time opening the latches.
Isabella, it's late.
Oh my god, she's alive! Oh, what day is it? I need to know if it's the same day! There's something I can't quite pinpoint in her eyes when she looks up. Her face a pallid shade, shoulders tense, breathing heavy, and an uncomfortable shaking in her hands she's trying to hold back. Hide, if I don't know any better.
Hey, Zach. Sorry. I know it's weird for me to show up at this hour, but you are the closest to my office, and...
Oh, no. It's perfectly fine. I'm not really working on anything right now. Do you want to come in?
Is it all right? I know you should be sleeping at this hour, but I thought... I'm sorry, I just thought...
I have no idea why I went here.
My feet just moved on their own after I got out of the office, and... Sorry.
Dude, I'm so happy she's alive because she must have come here straight from the office. Oh my god. Oh, thank God Best Girl is alive. She trails off, her voice lost in the muggy night air. I wait for her to say more, but instead, her only response is a downward shift of her gaze. Back to her still trembling hands as if the motion alone is enough of an explanation. A minuscule gesture. Easy to miss if one is not paying attention. For someone who has seen the same expression on the mirror and done the same thing too many times when night terrors are inevitable, it is not.
Hey, don't worry about it. At least you not. Ash just barges in and crashes on the couch whenever he feels like it. I swear that guy is one fine hairline away from being a criminal.
Waiting for her answer, I step away from the door and saunter over to the kitchenette. For a few good seconds, only the clicking of place can be heard above the constant tick-tick. Late as it may be for a snack, the familiar motions keep me occupied, steering my mind away from dangerous thoughts. Isabella's company is not unwelcome either. Whatever her reason for showing up here at such an hour doesn't matter. I'll be damned if I just turn her away, frazzled as she is. Door clicks shut behind her when she finally enters, feet shuffling softly against the tiled floor. All the years I've known her, she has never once lost her ever upbeat spirit. Yet in this particular moment, as she stands in the doorway, holding her arms close to herself, it's as if I'm looking at someone completely withdrawn from the person I've come to know all these years.
Do you want to drink or eat anything? I haven't restocked my food stash yet, so ingredients may be a bit limited. But I'm sure I can whip something up with what I have here.
Just water will do, please. Thanks, Zach.
What? No additional food requests? That's new. I'll put something together for you anyway. And feel free to make yourself at home. You ain't exactly a new visitor here. Although my room's not at its most presentable right now. Sorry. New freelance gigs and such. Didn't have time to fix things up here lately.
It's okay. I don't mind.
Usually she'd have something more to say about that. A quip, a witty remark to provoke a laughter or two. Nothing from her this time. Only a weak smile before she takes a seat on the couch, and a silence that stretches out until what we left hanging feels disconcerting. Before everything turns stifling and awkward, I continue talking, if only to keep the dead air at bay. How's one supposed to keep a conversation going when the person you're talking to is like this?
Anyway, gigs.
I have gigs, yes! Lots of gigs, lots of RAM. Gigs and RAM, that's what I got.
Can you believe this one client we got? Boss had all my schedule shoots shifted after they caught wind of this couple buying a new property.
Oh no!
Man, must be nice to have all the money in the world. The world itself moves for you, huh?
She's curled up on one side of the couch, hugging her knees close when I bring the tray carrying the sandwiches and the water she requested. She starts to straighten up as I'm unloading the contents, but pauses as soon as I hold up my hand in a halting gesture.
You're a guest. Didn't I say you're free to make yourself at home? Here's your water. Careful.
The tremor in her hands, though lighter now, still hasn't subsided when she reaches out for the glass. Oh my god, I do not. What is his relationship status? He is good with everybody. He's in a good thing with Becca. He's good with Hannah. It's keeping them! I'm gonna have to work hard with Rebecca to make her like Isabel again. Hannah did okay. Zach is doing good. He doesn't know Marianne yet. He does not know Marianne yet. I give her a questioning look, but she is quick to avert her eyes, keeping herself occupied by taking small gulps of water. Or maybe she just doesn't want me asking questions. Worrying. The sudden loss for words, this bout of quiet not normally present in our chats. Even the creak of the old chairs when I usually take a seat is a welcome break. Although the company's familiar, this has gone way past unnerving.
What happened? Overtime at work?
She doesn't answer immediately. Another gulp drains her glass of its remaining contents. One would think it'd be enough to help her recover, yet she doesn't lose her taut grip on the glass as she cradles it in her lap. Her eyes take on an unfocused gaze when she speaks again.
Yeah, boss handed me extra work today. After what happened to Rose.
Rose? Why do I feel like you've mentioned her before? Sorry, I'm better with remembering faces than names.
She was my coworker. That will take some getting used to. I was just talking to her the other day.
Oh yeah, that's still disconcerting, the fact that Rose is dead. Jeez.
Was? Did she resign or something? I think I'm missing a few details here, Bella.
You've never met her. I think I did mention her once or twice. It doesn't matter. You probably heard her name recently from the news than me.
Something clicks then. A little memory from the night before. Bright red light from the dark room. Strong odor of the stop bath. Television's barely audible murmur in the background. The glimpse of a bloody room. The news is everywhere, even in the mornings that follows. I just didn't think its effects will strike someone this close to me.
Oh. Damn. I didn't mean to bring that up.
No, like I said, it'll take some getting used to, but it'll get better. I hope it will. Things might become a little busier for me, though. She left a lot of things unfinished. And I'm one of the few people in the office who knows how she works.
You know what I'm waiting for? I am waiting for a chapter when everyone knows the curse is upon them. And I really want there to be a chapter where everyone's like we all know bad shit's happening. Yeah, we all know bad shit's happening. We need to work together to not die. Right. That's what I want. That's what I was expecting. I was expecting this to be about a bunch of people that got trapped in this haunted mansion and are dealing with the ghosts. But that's not at all what this has been about. This has been a very different experience, but I'm not upset with the experience that I'm getting.
Boss thinks the transition will be easier if I handle it.
That explains it. Well, just don't forget you still need rest. Even the most hard-working people I know don't keep hours as late as this. Hell, the subway stopped running hours ago. Crime rate might be lower here than most places, but that doesn't mean you can walk around freely in the middle of the night.
Yeah, especially with crazy ghosts chasing you.
It's just for today.
Still a good thing you dropped by here first. I'm not just about to let you walk out here alone, especially not in the middle of the night. Who knows what else could happen? I'm not saying you should go right now, but I could accompany you home if you...
No! Wait, please!
The vehement tension in her voice makes me pause. And it is in this instant the mask she's been keeping up falls apart, if only for a short while. Right then and there I understood what's hiding behind her unfocused stare from the moment she arrived. Fear. Pure, unadulterated fear. It's disturbing to see such marring her... that's a weird sentence. It's disturbing to see such marring her usual upbeat countenance. With a sigh, I cross the small table separating us and kneel in front of her. She doesn't flinch when I do so. However, the way she appears to make herself smaller against the couch is telling enough.
Bella, this ain't just about your coworker, is it? What is it really about? I'm all ears.
Yeah, Zach saw the ghost thing too. He did! I was there with Hannah when he saw it! He knows it's there! Oh no. The sound of glass shattering rents through the air as soon as her hold on it loosens. You spend a few seconds, her breathing grows labored.
I don't know. I don't know anymore.
She clasps her hands over her ears, pressing it tightly against the sides of her head. Her voice grows weaker with each word, each plea coming out of her mouth.
Please don't leave me alone. I don't want to be alone right now.
I wouldn't want to be alone either. Seriously, if something like crazy like this happened to me, I would literally go over to like I would go over to my friend, his name is Cosmic. I would go over to his house and be like, dude, I need to crash on your couch tonight. What, please? And he'd be like, okay. I mean, I know he would. But at the same time, you know, it's just like, dude, ghosts and shit. And he'd be like, really? Tell me about it. I'd tell him about it, and then he'd be like, okay, dude, we're sleeping in the same room tonight. I'd be like, good. You stay out here with me. Your wife and your 2 kids can sleep in the same room together. We'll all be good. No, I'll have company. Or we can just all sleep in the same room. I just sleep on the floor. Either way, like, you know, if ghosts attack, you group up. You never split the party, especially when there are ghosts.
I can't shake it off. Everywhere's not safe and...
All right, Isabella. Look at me.
Yes. I'm gonna get this right. Maria, Isabella, Gracia, Cruz, Santos. I got you, fam. I got you. I'm with you. We're here. We got it. We're good. My hands are firm on her shoulder when I pull her up to look at me. It takes every force of will to ignore the terror in her eyes in favor of taking control of the situation. Too close. Too similar.
Breathe. You're safe here. Inhale, hold, exhale. Stay in the present. I'm here. No one's gonna hurt you.
Zach will fuck a ghost up. Yeah, he will.
Do you want to talk about it?
For which she shakes her head is reason enough to drop the topic altogether.
No more. Please. No more. I don't want to remember anymore.
Okay, no more talking. I won't ask anymore. Can I get you anything? Another glass of water? I think I have a tub of that pistachio ice cream you love so much. We're gonna have to clean this mess first. Will you be fine on your own for a little while?
She nods lightly before retreating into herself again. No more words are exchanged after that. Take that as my cue to start cleaning the shards littering the floor before either one of us get hurt. The quiet hum of the AC is a pleasant distraction as I go over the menial task. More so than her ragged draws of breath or her little feeble attempts to tell a quick story or two. But the latter does the trick. And soon enough, she has already drifted off by the time I return with the promised glass of water, her chest rising and falling in a steady hum, the strain on her shoulders gone. Frankly, I've never seen her this still. She mumbles something I can't quite catch, and I carry her to the empty bed, and hugs herself tighter against the mess of blankets. In spite of the fact that she appears relaxed, the small frown on her face hasn't quite disappeared. Whatever happened to her won't be leaving her anytime soon. But for her sake, I hope it won't stay with her long. There are still questions left to be answered. But the late hour, coupled with the sudden exhaustion, made my old couch a more comfortable bed than it typically is. Darkness immediately welcomes me as my head hits my makeshift pillow. Okay, yeah, so it's past midnight, that's why. A frightened Isabella Santos knocks on Zachary Steele's apartment in the middle of the night. Shaken, she refused to say what happened. Zachary let her stay regardless, because he's a badass! God, I love this man. I can only wish the dreams will keep at distance for now. For both of us. Tuesday the 25th. For a few notes, while muffled, are enough to wake me. In the end, it became one of those nights when sleep passes by in a blink and is plagued with vague, funny thoughts. Fuzzy thoughts. I lift my hand to rub my eyes at the drowsiness. I lift a hand to rub away the drowsiness from my eyes, although it does little to relieve the gritty, burning sensation from my eyelids. Oh God, I hate that feeling. Apparently, it's already noon, because that clock never fucking moves. You could have made a different time, maybe. I mean, that would have been nice. Outside, the sun has yet to peek over the horizon. That is sunshine. That's not at all what you're saying. But night has already given way to the cool morning light, washing away in subtle gray hues. At this hour, the entire city remains unstirring. Answer your goddamn phone, dude! Ordinarily, waking up before my own alarm means abusing the snooze button twice or thrice just to catch those precious few extra minutes of sleep. But the persistent ringing makes it impossible now.
This better be good.
That sounded good. I like that line. Groggily, I scrambled for the bag, sitting at the foot of the bed. Oh, it's Ash. The ringing still hasn't stopped, even as I fished the phone out, and Ash's name flashes brightly on the screen when I turn it on. Must be pretty urgent if he hasn't dropped the call yet.
Took you long enough, Z-Man.
Ashton, it's 6 in the morning. Sun hasn't even risen. Hell, my brain ain't even awake yet. Stop calling me Z-Man.
It's 20 past 6, Zach.
You want to talk? Give me back my 5 extra minutes, Ash. I want my sleep.
Hey, don't make fun of me. I can be a more person too if I want
No,
to.
you can't. There's nothing you're capable of. Don't lie to yourself.
What's this all really about? You don't usually make calls around this hour. Is the world ending today?
Sorry about that. Becca rang me up a few minutes ago looking for Isabella. Said she didn't show up in her own apartment last night. We both tried calling, but her phone seems to be off. Do you have any idea where...
I should have known you two would come looking for her first thing in the morning.
Not a laughing matter, Zach. You can't really let your guard down with everything that's happened here recently. You've heard about the Cooper woman from the news. Everyone in the precinct has been restless ever since the incident the other day.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Listen, Ash, about Bella.
I let my voice trail off, unsure about how to go about recounting last night. If I should even say anything to him. He might be a close friend, but at the end of the day, whatever's bothering her ain't mine to speak of in the first place. On the bed, Isabella remains as still as when I transferred her the night before. Sometime during her sleep, she pulled up a blanket over herself and tucked into it comfortably. Like this, it's easy to forget the horror in her eyes, or how much her hands and lips trembled. Save for her firm grip on the edge of the sheets, she appears to be nearly as normal as she would any other day. Almost.
I'm not really sure how to go about this while being...
Zach, what about her?
Something, the worry, the concern, must have surfaced in my tone because his own shifts then. Carefully, as if he's preparing for the worst.
Look, you don't have to worry about her. She's with me right now. Since last night, in fact.
Oh, why didn't you just say so earlier?
She kind of knocked in the middle of the night. I couldn't possibly wake you two over that, and with how things are when she arrived, I thought it'd be best if I let her rest first. I just wasn't expecting people would be looking for her before the rooster even crows.
You could have at least called her something. Becca's beside herself with worry when she found out. You know how much she frets about the smallest stuff.
I know. I'm sorry. That was a lapse on my part. And I just didn't think, okay, you know what? Rebecca's worries ain't completely baseless. Isabella hasn't been her usual self since the movie. Maybe even before that. I don't know if I should be opening my mouth about this, but Bella didn't outright say I shouldn't, so...
So something's wrong then?
I'm not quite sure, to be completely honest. I couldn't get the story out of her.
Really? I thought you'd have learned something from me by now.
That's not it. Ash, when she appeared at my doorstep last night, she was shaking, and when I tried to ask her about it, she just panicked. Had this frightened look on her face. I'd be surprised if this was the first time I've seen it, but it ain't. Dude, the first time, she was screaming.
First time? When was this? You weren't talking about the thing in the movie house, are you? Because that was just us fooling around. Granted, I think I went overboard with the joke, but...
No, it happened the day after. When she invited us to lunch, you weren't there. We were walking one second, and then the next, she's crying out. I'll be straight with you. That scared me shitless.
It should! Good, you're a good friend! God, Zach, I love you! You're such a good person! Continue to be a good person, Zach! It's the only thing that may help you survive this game. That and me. God, I need to make good choices. It bothered him, if the way he falls silent after his telling. But whatever his opinion is, stays absent from his voice when he speaks again. He's always been good with that, hiding what he thinks.
Did she say anything else?
Nothing. Won't tell me anything aside from a few vague words. I didn't want to push it.
Where is she? Is she still sleeping?
Right here with me, still sleeping. Should I wake her up or something? Let her know you guys are looking for her?
No need. Let her rest. I'll drop by in a few.
Today? Don't you have work at this time? I mean, I can drop her off home myself before meeting my client later.
Look who's talking.
My schedule's flexible, Ash. Last time I checked, you're the one who didn't have that luxury. How on earth do you think I'm able to tag along when you need me?
It's not completely out of the way.
They live on the other side of the town from you, Ash. Your definition of out of the way is a little screwed up, you know.
It's fine. I have some things I need to do anyway. I'll call you back. I've got to let Becca know that Scared Cat's fine.
Okay. Well. Come morning, Zachary received a call from Ashton, who is looking for Isabella. Zachary informed him that she stayed over and of the circumstances. Before ending the call, Ashton offered to pick her up. He drops the call before I can get a word in, and for several minutes after, I find myself simply listening as the rest of Luxburn rouses. The increasing sound of passing traffic, the bustle of the nearby shops preparing for the day, and the growing clamor of the people while they go about their morning. Not the most soothing sounds to hear following a troubled night, but the routine puts me at ease nonetheless. What's comforting, what's safe, what I'm used to. Nearby, Isabella shifts but doesn't wake, blissfully unaware as the city slowly stirs itself back to life. Was her night as restless as the one I had? Were her dreams as lucid? In a hushed moment like this, I envy her. Unreasonable, probably a little unfair to say in light of last night. If only forgetting is as easy as breathing. God damn it, when he yawned, I yawned. Why do you do this to me, bro? A small yawn escapes me when I rise from the couch to stretch. Luckily, the short conversation with Ash has effectively driven away any will to go back to bed. I still have a day to get through, despite the proverbial ghosts hanging in the air and real ghosts hanging in the air. The bottle sitting at the edge of my table is reassuring against my palm the instant I pick it up. The sterile odor of the capsule is equally so. Yet the weight they carry is something I've never gotten used to. Years ago, I'd spend minutes, heck even hours staring at a single pill prior to taking one in. Now it's just routine. Way to stave off the unwanted nightly visits. Although I don't think Dr. Navarro will be quite pleased if he ever finds out I'm relying on them again. I do owe him a visit regardless, especially after missing our appointments on purpose and ignoring his calls for weeks. Oh, dude, I think he's suffering from depression, which makes all the sense with him. Nice people like him typically do suffer from a good deal of depression. Another sigh comes out, tired and weary, and then I pop the tablet into my mouth.
Zach? What time is it?
Time to wake up, princess. Bottle in my hand hits the table with more force than necessary. As much as I trust my friends, there are some things I'd rather keep to myself.
Morning, Bella. Did you sleep well?
She answers the question with a long, drawn-out yawn, one reminiscent of a child. A chuckle manages to come out of my mouth at the sight. In this manner, it's easy to mistake her for someone too young for responsibilities. Inexperienced and immature even. How old is Bella? I'm trying to remember. She's 26. Yeah, that's right. She's younger than most of them, because Hannah and Zach are both 31. They're both my age. I'm 31. I don't want to be 31, but I'm 31. Easy to forget, she was thrust into the role of an adult earlier than her own dreams can afford. To overlook how surprisingly observant she can be at times. Maybe not on the same level Ash exercises for his investigations, or Rebecca needs for her own work. But it's certainly enough to definitely put what she sees around her own canvas. If the way her eyes flicker to the table and my hand says something, it is that I won't be able to avoid the questions this time.
Only a little. I don't remember how I ended up on the bed, though.
My doing. You didn't look very comfortable sleeping on the couch, all hunched up like that.
It would have been enough for something temporary. Sorry I stole your bed.
Hey, it doesn't matter. Besides, what kind of gentleman would I be if I leave a lady sleeping in such uncomfortable conditions? Not in this house. My nana would give me a tough scolding if I ever did that, I'm telling you.
I'll tell you what.
Thanks a lot, Zach. I know I barged in at a very inconvenient time last night. I wasn't really thinking when I did, and...
Hey, it's cool, Bella. I ain't mad at you. That's what friends do. You guys are welcome here anytime, although Ashton abuses the anytime part a lot. I don't really mind. We might have less wiggle room if all four of us are present, considering the size of this place. But as long as no one makes anything explode, it's totally fine.
Fine or not, I still owe you one for last night's trouble, especially since you don't seem to be...
A concerned expression passes over her features as she spares another cursory glance over the table, back to the bottle holding every single piece of what keeps the bad memories at bay. The blood blooming over Papa's heart, a horrified look on Mama's face as she watches him fall lifeless to the ground, and every ounce of spite seeping from the stranger's smile. You don't belong here. You monkeys don't belong here. It never stops, does it?
Well, you don't seem to be feeling well. Let me know, okay? I'll make it up to you somehow.
I'm gonna do my best for everyone to survive this game so that shit like this can happen, because here's the thing. There has got to be a true ending where everyone survives. There has got to be. So, I'm gonna do my damnedest to make that happen, and I think the way that you make that happen is by having everyone's relationships be at, like, max, and I fucked up with Isabella. Because Rebecca's not too happy with her right now, but hopefully when I get to play as Rebecca later, we'll be able to fix that. We're focusing on Zach right now. The gorgeous, beautiful, hunky man. God, I love him. He's amazing. Although Isabella is still best girl, I'm not going to say that she's not. She makes a slight gesture with her head towards the table. Towards the bottle, sorry. Asking a question without really asking. Subtlety has never been one of her greatest assets, but right now, even Ash would have been a little amazed, if not at a loss for words at that. She has left it up to me whether I'll give her the response she wants to hear or not. Oh, no, questions. Questions, bad. Let's... I feel like... What would Zach do? Would Zach play it off, or would he tell the truth? Like, a part of me wants to say, like, play it off, but I feel like that'll just make the situation worse, so I'm just gonna tell the truth. Oh, good! That helped even better! Good! It's never easy, ain't it? Talking about my own problems, that is. It will never be, not by a long shot. Not when I've let it stay this way for so long. I realized that long ago, when the wounds are still fresh and the dreams are a nightly occurrence, you can't force yourself to get better or move on to better things. It's what's normal now, and I can only cope. The question in her eyes may be unwarranted, simply born simply out of curiosity and sincere concern for a friend. I don't owe her an explanation, in fact. But of all the people I keep close in my life, she's probably one of the very few who, perhaps, I can trust with this. Maybe she won't understand entirely. I can never hope she will. No, never to the full extent. That alone is expecting too much of her, and giving too much of what I can. However, for all her shortcomings, I know she'll hear me out. And that is all I can ask of her.
My bad. I was kinda hoping you wouldn't have seen me with these.
Pills rattle lightly against the counter when I gently set it back at its usual place. Always the small area closest to my laptop, near the right hand. Within reach whenever, and a quiet reminder of what I shouldn't miss every day.
What? Oh, is it bad? I was just thinking that maybe it's a cold like Becca's. Do you need me to get anything from the store? Soup or something? There's one nearby, right? I can run real quick and...
No, nothing of that sort. I'm perfectly healthy right now. It's really difficult to say, but can you promise me you'll listen at least?
What is this about, Zach?
I should have been upfront with you about this a long time ago. But Ashton found out without me telling him anything. But you already know how that guy is. Can't hide anything from him.
If it's something you're having trouble saying, you don't have to force yourself to tell me. I'll forget I ever saw anything and won't ask questions. Promise.
No, I need to get this off my chest eventually. Besides, we're already here. Might as well finish what I started, yeah?
If you say so.
She takes a seat on the couch, her posture easy and open and her smile honest. As if this is just a simple talk between two friends on a regular day. I love this! This is great! It is far from one, but her unreserved air is enough to stamp down the twinge of unease that threatens to come up.
Let's hear it then.
Feels like yesterday. And she does. True to her words, she listens while the story spills out of my mouth of my ma and pa, and that little diner across the pond, what it left in me that day. I can't recall most of it now, my own account jagged with a few missing details here and there. The passing years have eroded most of my recollection of the incident. All except for that one moment in the kitchen. The ringing of gunshots are as vivid as it sounded that day. Even Ma's hysterical screams, the moment Papa's body hits the floor, are motionless, his life blood flowing out from under him. And the gunman, he was smiling. He was smiling when Papa opened the door to welcome him. He was smiling when he put a bullet to Pa's chest and Ma's head. I heard stories of how the world can be a cruel place for people like us before. I never believed until that moment.
Nan and Gran took us right after that. Sis and I flew straight to New Jersey as soon as they heard the news. A few days after, Ma and Pa were laid to rest. And we have a new home a continent away. I didn't even get the chance to take my favorite pillow with me.
Oh my god, Zach. I just want to give you a hug, man. I just want to give him a hug. And I mean, like, you never want to tell someone that everything's going to be okay. Instead, what you need to tell people is, I'm here for you. I'm here for you, man. And if anyone watching this is having problems, if you're having issues, if something horrible has happened to you, I may not be the best person for you to contact and be like, I need your help. But, you know what? You owe it to yourself to do what you can to help yourself. I went through depression at one point in my life, never clinically depressed, just the normal depression stuff, like, bullied in high school kind of thing. But, I had a lot of friends who had really, really bad childhoods. I was fortunate that I was not one of them. But at the same time, I do what I can for them. That's all we can do, is just do what we can. That's what we gotta do.
They said something about the change of environment will be good for us. They had no idea the different kind of ghosts would follow me here.
I expected questions, mostly those brimming with childlike curiosity, and maybe some that are a little too hard to answer. But to her credit, she just sat there, lent her ears, and looked at me with no expectations or unnecessary judgment in her eyes. She appears wiser and older like this, easier to see the breadwinner in her. Her younger siblings are lucky to have her. When I'm done, after everything's been said, she wraps her arms around me. A bit awkward considering the gap in our height, but she gets her sentiment across. But it's difficult to answer this in kind. If If I'm even supposed to reciprocate the gesture, given my earlier apprehension. She pulls away shortly, with a smile on her face. Not the reaction I braced myself for, but it is obvious. It's obviously better than what I imagined.
Are you not gonna say anything?
Am I supposed to say anything after? Like, apologize or something? I don't think that's very appropriate, but if you want to hear one, I can think of something real quick.
Oh! No, sometimes people just want someone else to listen to them and just give them a hug. She did the right thing. She's good at making choices.
Not really. Other people have something to say after usually. And they're not necessarily nice either.
Oh? Okay then. I won't. I can't think of something anyway. Sorry. I'm not very good with this. Who else knows, by the way?
My older sister, grandparents, and just Ash and you for now. Maybe I think I should tell Rebecca too, but...
But not right now?
Yeah, not right now. When I'm ready. Like today.
I'm sure she'll be willing to hear you out once you do.
I don't doubt she will. I'm more afraid of how she'll react after. One step at a time, yeah? Whew! Surprisingly, it feels good to get that one out my chest. I was a little afraid you'd be angrier. I didn't tell you earlier than today.
I'm not angry. I'm just surprised. You didn't look like it. I wouldn't have suspected. I suppose that's how it often is, isn't it? We all have our... what's the word Becca uses? Inner demons? But this is something personal to you. I understand why you'd rather have a few people know.
That too. Well, these past few weeks haven't been easy for you. I didn't want to add that. Not after last night.
Something passes in her face. Brief, fleeting, and disappears right before I can recognize what it is.
You okay?
Yep, no worries. I'll be fine.
No, you will not! Everyone needs to trust in their friends and deal with the ghost problem together! Unite, friends! God, Wonder Friends' powers activate!
Look, about last night, never mind. This isn't a good time.
No, it is a good time!
But don't lose sleep over this, alright? What's important is you got what you want to say out. And if you need me, I'll be here.
Yeah, well, you should do the same! Say the ghost things! I should be relieved. Her words are more than reassuring to my ears. There should be comfort in hearing those alone, and knowing I have another person to rely on if things ever go bad. But somehow, I find myself worrying more about her instead. I'll make another attempt to get the story out of her if I can. But this is a dance I know all too well. And with her, I doubt forcing her to say something would yield any results. As much as I want to imitate Ash, there's only so much I can ask that won't result in something a little over disastrous. At best, she'll stop talking to me until a week passes. At worst, I'd rather not risk it. I've never seen her angry. Outright annoyed, maybe, and often directed at Ash, but never furious. What do they say again about happiest people when angered? Besides, it'd be unfair to her after our little chat.
So, food then?
She seems relieved at the brisk change of subject. It's as if it is as if it has been simply waiting for its cue all this time. Her stomach rumbles at the mention of food. Rather loudly, as a matter of fact.
Alrighty, Missy. We're going to get some chow now. Better be quick, though. Can't have your stomach starting a revolution on us here.
Don't make fun of me. I'm not that hungry. Maybe a little. I didn't think I'd end up skipping dinner last night.
And now we have one starved stomach protesting. Sorry, it'll be nothing fancy, since I'm a little low on stocks. I should probably drop by the grocery store after the meeting this afternoon.
I can make a quick run for you if you want.
Nah, I've got enough to put together something nice here. Maybe. I could always improvise if we're missing an ingredient or two. It ain't like we're going for a Michelin 3-star status here. Also, didn't I say you're a guest? Is this a Filipino thing? Or just Rebecca rubbing off on you?
The soft laughter that comes from her doesn't quite reach her eyes. Neither. The answer is neither. because if she stays idle, she'll remember.
On second thought, I might need a little help slicing up the potatoes while I prep the ham. You up for that?
What? Do you think instant noodles are all I'm about?
Maybe, a little bit.
I'll have you know, I can cook a mean paella with my eyes closed. All my siblings love it.
Sure you can. Come on. I think I know what we'll do with those spare ingredients.
Despite the massive effort to keep the mood light with small chatter, cooking ends up being a mostly quiet affair. Okay. Isabel saw Zachary taking an unknown medicine and, concerned, asks what it's for. He admitted he's suffering from trauma ever since his parents were killed in a hate crime. Isabella could only offer him a comforting hug. To lighten the mood, the two decide to cook breakfast afterwards. Okay, cool. I like these. Let's see. Okay, we'll go for just a little bit longer. I'm kind of wanting to see where this is going to go. Between us, the consistent clapping of the knife against the board and the muffled noise from the television I left running, words have become surprisingly difficult to string together. Not entirely unusual. We've had moments like this before, but definitely unnerving with how things are now. I really wish someone else would come knocking at the door. As pleasant as this is, breaking the ice or keeping a conversation going has never been my forte. That has always been Isabella or Rebecca's department. Sometimes Ash's, although most coming from him, border on awkward or embarrassing. Speaking of the guy, he never did call back. I'm willing to bet my entire yearly salary he fell right back to sleep after that call.
Sorry, Bella. Could you...
Yep, I got it. The potatoes are almost ready, by the way. I turned down the heat just in case. You might want to check on them, though. Hold on, I'll be right there. Sheesh, wait up. If you keep rapping at the door like that, you'll break it down, Ash.
Oh, good. You're awake.
Ash has already welcomed himself in when I take my eyes away from the oven. He's never been really keen with the notion of courtesies after he's warmed up to you, this guy. All 13 of my locks he broke can attest to that. He's a good fellow, though. Maybe a tad bit standoffish at first glance, but he's trustworthy.
Don't you have work today?
Yes, he does.
I could ask the same of you. Hey, Izzy, man.
You're late. Something came up? You need to drop the Z-Man. It's getting old.
Sorry. I got caught up with something at the precinct on the way here. Had to attend to that first before things got out of hand. I'd tell you about it, but you know how it can be with those kinds of things. Later, maybe.
And you're here because...
What? I'm not allowed to say hello?
I doubt you're here because of that. And you're not answering my question.
My bad. Forgot to mention that. He called earlier looking for you. Rebecca's worried because you didn't come home last night.
You could have called my cell instead.
You weren't picking up. Anyway, I'd really hate to cut this little get-together short, but I need to be somewhere else. Come on, Isabella, let's get you home. I'll drop you off on the way.
Wait, we're going now?
He lightly claps a hand on her arm and begins ushering her out of the apartment, throwing a casual wave at me as they pass. Isabella, on the other hand, doesn't appear too fond of the idea. And sure enough, before they can even cross the threshold, she puts a firm foot down, force alone enough to halt them both and catch the taller man off guard. It would have made for a funny picture. The way Ash almost crashes into her, and Isabella giving him an indignant pout over her shoulder. Surprise and confusion are on his face all at once, two things that rarely ever grace it if he can help it. A rare moment, even for our small group. If only I had my camera with me. I left it in the other room. Dang, it's right there. It's right there, but I don't have it.
What is it?
Zach cooked something.
If it's just food, I'll get you something on the way back.
But the food! It's Zach's cooking. Real delicious food that actually tastes like food. At least stay and have a bite. Please, Zach, help me here.
These two. Whenever they're in the same room, sometimes it feels like herding a group of unruly kids instead of talking to two mature adults. One moment they're engaged in a pleasant chit-chat, and the next they're bickering over a minor issue. Frankly, if I didn't know any better, I have an overactive imagination. I'd say there's something going on. Never mind how utterly impossible that idea is. Or it might just be me reading too much into things like this. I can already hear Ash's laughter if I so much as suggest as such. This, however, oh no. Oh no. I know you're busy, but food.
It's okay. I know you're busy.
No, that's not what I wanted! No, I thought, no! I thought it meant to stay and have the food. I'm sorry, breaking my rule here. I wanted to pick, I cooked up a feast. I thought he meant, I know you're busy, but stay for the food. I thought they were the same thing. I am choosing this one because that's what I wanted to choose. I misunderstood what this was trying to say, so I'm picking this one. I am sorry if you think that means I'm going back on my choices, but quite literally, I wanted him to say, I want you to stay and eat my food. That was the choice that I made. I didn't realize this was a different choice, so I'm picking this one.
I don't know about you two, but I think you guys should really stay. I've already made enough food for all
That's
of us.
what I wanted!
No waste.
And like I said, I'm sorry if you guys get angry at me for changing that decision. I typically don't go back and change my decisions, but I quite literally thought I was making the choice of stay for food and not, oh, I thought it was like, hey, I know you're busy, but you should stay for food. God, I wanted them to the whole stay for food thing, so that's what I'm doing. That's the choice that I wanted to make. I just picked the wrong thing because I was confused, so fuck off, y'all. I shouldn't say that to you. You guys are very nice to me. I'm sorry.
Why, I cooked up that special honey glazed ham you two keep on yapping about. Got some scalloped potatoes with onions and cheddar to go with it, too.
The oven timer dings! Yay! I shoot the two of them an apologetic look before sauntering over the kitchen, mittens in hand. The sweet smell of the glaze and salty tang of melted cheese wafts through the air as soon as I open the door and take out the two trays inside. The scent immediately fills the entire room, and even with the door and windows open, the mouth-watering aroma lingers. It's appealing enough that when I put the dishes down on the counter, another starved stomach protests loudly, followed by a burst of laughter. My head snaps up at the two of them. I can't help but smile at the sight they make. Isabella is clinging to the doorframe for support, doubling over with breathless laughter. Ash is the more composed of the two, trying to look unconcerned, but a flush has crept up his neck and cheeks. It's clear whose stomach that came from, and Isabella's not going to let him live this down.
You're in no place to reject an offer of free food, Frey.
I wasn't rejecting anything. Damn it, I just missed a meal, that's all.
Aw, he's flustered.
Shut it! Those guys at the precinct said it was urgent. Somebody has to be responsible for it.
Well, aren't you precious?
Right. You know, if you keep laughing like that, you'll burst.
I'm sure it won't be as bad as your stomach suddenly rumbling like a starved.
Aye, kiddos, play nice. Food's gonna get cold if we keep this up. Ash, you gonna stay?
Might as well, since Scaredy Cat's so hell-bent on staying.
Oh yeah, that's what I wanted. Oh my god, it looks so good. I'm so fucking hungry right now. Oh, I'm so fucking hungry right now. We eventually settle down after the food has been served. The jive's replaced by another round of friendly chatter, mostly about what's on the news the night before. That is, however, a conscious effort to avoid mentioning what's currently going on in the headlines. The dead is never a good topic to talk about over food and polite company, this case in particular. The wounds are too fresh, too soon. I'd likely avoid it as well if I were in her position, and someone I personally knew passed away in a gruesome manner like that. Though perhaps the closest we got to broaching the topic is when the infamous mansion is brought up again. But even then, we are careful, Ash and I. We keep the conversation light and avoid bringing up her late business partner. It's the least we can do.
The Wrights? Yeah, they're planning to move in soon. In fact, they already have a housewarming party planned. It's why they wanted us to rush the papers. They wanted to send the invitations out as soon as possible.
Oh, now I get it.
Get what?
Remember what I told you last night about the new clients?
Vaguely? Sorry. I was a little out of it yesterday. Was it the photo shoot?
Yep. It's actually for the one you sold. Ermin. Something. When you put it that way, I suppose it makes sense why my boss wants me to prioritize the couple. They can have those documents rushed at just a snap of their fingers. Then they're more influential than I initially thought. And I guess my boss is expecting a lot more from this project than I expected. Hope I can live up to it.
Your photographs are more than good enough, Zach. You'd probably win an international award if you let yourself.
Yeah.
Ma'am Hana's easy to please, too. As long as you're good at following instructions.
Easier said than done. Different clients have different tastes after all.
Still, a week? I don't think that's possible.
Now that you mentioned it, yeah. They wanted everything finished at the earliest. To be honest, it's not unheard of, but...
But it's still weird. Still weird, yeah?
A slip of the tongue. Still barely noticeable as someone who's already familiar with Ash's ways, yet in this moment, it's impossible to miss. I shoot him a curious glance, but he ignores it. Rather pointedly.
I can't exactly say it's like that, where I'm just the middleman after all. As much as I want to comment on it, I only know what's on the surface, not the in and outs. It's just that BRC and my boss are more hands-on with the legal stuff this time, despite having a separate department dedicated to it.
Maybe Mr. Wright helped with it too. They have their own legal team for this, don't they?
Well, they should have one. Especially for a big property like this.
They have, but like I said, it's off our hands. Rose and I don't handle this stuff in the office. If anything, to me, this just means I'll be able to send the rest of the funds to Papa's treatment earlier.
I guess that makes a whole lot of sense. Officially off our instant noodle diet, aren't we?
Ash, has anyone ever told you that you have an uncanny way of ruining the mood?
What? I was just saying. A few more months of stuffing your face with those, and I'm sure you'll start to look like a noodle cup. That's a pretty picture.
At least I don't live off convenience store food. Or make poor, unassuming pressure cookers explode.
When did that happen?
What? How did you... Oh, come on, Zach.
Sorry, it just came up while we were cooking earlier.
Ha ha ha! He made a pressure cooker explode. That's simultaneously impressive and terrifying.
I'm impressed, Ashton Frey. You even made it to the news.
A one-time thing. And it wasn't as big as you seem to be imagining.
Oh, sure. Let's all pretend that one time you almost set my apartment on fire didn't happen too.
Hey, that was an accident.
You were making a salad, Ash.
God. Oh my God, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. How did you almost light the place on fire because of a salad? I must know.
Can we please move on to a different topic?
It helps. The casual talk, the harmless teasing, Monday's stories interesting enough to let time pass unnoticed. By the time lunch ends, the shadows are no longer at the forefront of my mind. If it's the same for Isabella, for whatever troubles her, I can never tell. These things, the anxiety, the fear, they ain't easily seen, they ain't easily forgotten after all.
You go on ahead. I've got a few things I need to ask Zach. I'll be downstairs in a minute.
Confusion briefly flashes in her eyes as she catches the keys he tosses over, but he doesn't give her an answer and waves for her to go on ahead.
How sure are you I won't be driving away with your Shirley?
You don't even have a license. Do you even know how to?
Papa taught me how. I'm probably a better driver than you. See you later, Zach. Thanks for the food.
Always has to have the last word, don't you?
You're welcome. I'll send you the recipe for the potatoes tonight.
A grin is back on her face when she leaves and closes the door behind her. For a little while, after we're left alone, Ash goes wholly quiet, listening, waiting for her remaining footsteps to in the hall to fade. The earlier amusement is gone from his face, replaced by what I can only describe as trepidation. I know that look all too well. When he's like this, he's expecting shit about to go down at some point soon.
That wasn't very nice, Ash. What was that with Isabella earlier? You're usually subtler with your questions.
They hired you.
Hired me who? Don't change the subject yet. What's really going on here?
The Wrights. Luke and Hannah Wright. You said your next gig is with them.
Is that what this is all about?
Just be careful around them. You have no idea what you're dealing with when it comes to that couple. I'd rather you stay as far away from them as possible, but you're already here. Isabella's their real estate agent. Seriously, of all the people in Luxburn.
Okay. I guess I'll just have to take your word for it.
He nods and claps a comforting hand on my back and turns to leave without another word. He's never been good with those. More often he fumbles with what he wants to say, but his actions alone are enough to tell me how grateful he is for the trust. He reaches for the knob as soon as he gets to the door, but doesn't turn it. Instead, he looks back and gestures his head towards the table. I don't need to follow his line of sight to know where he's about to ask. It's like he'd taken notice of it the moment he entered the room.
You back on those? I haven't seen you taking them in a year.
Yeah, I kinda had to. It got worse after the film fest. The dreams, that is. I don't think I'll be doing that again anytime soon.
Heard about that. Don't drop it, though. You don't want Becca scolding you. She actually enjoyed the movie you made, and she's hard to please. Consider that a small victory.
You don't have to tell me. She already did. Rebecca and Bella both gave me an earful after I said the opposite. Promised them I wouldn't, but you can never tell. Hopefully, once I feel better, I'll be able to think about it properly. Speaking of Bella, she didn't open up to me, but maybe with you and Rebecca.
Yeah, I'll try. I can't promise anything, but I'll talk to her.
Thanks. That's all I'm asking.
This time, when he reaches for the door, he lets it close fully behind him without glancing back. A mild draft sweeps into the room as I close the door behind him, slightly disturbing the papers on the nearby fridge. A low note flutters by my feet, the letters on the surface glaring at me with mute intensity. Hermangard Mansion, H. Wright, 11 a.m. for luxury living. After Action's warning, they all hold a different meaning now. Whoa. It's been a few days. Ashton arrives to fetch Isabel hours later, but she doesn't want to leave after all the food they prepared. In the end, Ashton acquiesced and stayed. The Wrights and Zach's upcoming gig were a few topics touched upon during their talk over breakfast. Okay. I think this is going to be the best place to cut it, with Zach and his beautiful, beautiful singing voice. Oh, so thank you everybody so much for watching. I appreciate you being here with me. Okay, so yeah, we did see some creepy things this episode, and we had that horrible QuickTime event that I kind of fucked up on, but still apparently survived. But, yeah, good to know that Isabella's okay, and that, for the most part, it looks like everything's going okay. It skipped ahead to the 27th. It's been a couple of days. The party's on the 28th, so I'm guessing we're going to get to that. 29th is when she opens the door to the cellar. Okay, so we still got some time to figure out what's going on and everything. But, you know, we're going to have to leave that for another episode. So, until next time, have yourselves a beautiful day, my beautiful, beautiful viewers.